Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Firestorm at Home. I am Coach Summer. You are tuning in for AcroFlex number 4 with me. We do have our previous episodes archived on our YouTube channel, which is the one you're at, Firestorm Rerunning. If you look under the playlist Firestorm at Home, those will be all of our previous live streams. So we are on number 4 for AcroFlex. Today we are going over bridge and shoulder flexibility. A lot of people love to do bridges. Bridges are very helpful with getting all your other remaining skills for tumbling or for parkour as well. So bridge stretch is what we're going to be going over today, and also getting that additional shoulder stretch and flexibility. We don't stretch our shoulders as much as we should. I am definitely one of those people that needs to stretch their shoulders more. I get reminded all the time by my fellow coaches, just because it's one of those things, yeah, you know, splits are awesome, splits are great, but then when I go into my bridge and I'm definitely feeling it in my shoulders because of my bag or my backpack, shoulder stretching, shoulder flexibility, and shoulder mobility is definitely a good one to have. So we are going to be starting off with our mobility drills and warm-ups, but what you want for this specific episode, if you are joining with us, we're on AcroFlex number 4. What you're going to need is a mat or a surface that you're not going to slip on. So if you're practicing on carpet and you have socks on and your socks are slipping, these are actually special socks. They got sticky bottoms on them, so I don't kind of slip all over the mat. You actually use these in Pilates, that's where I got them. And then we are also using either a countertop or an ottoman, somewhere you can place your arms over and have enough room for, a coffee table even, and then just a little space of a wall. You can also use the back of the door. Just make sure no one is coming in or out of that door, because you might get crushed behind the door. So we don't want that. Another thing that you might want to grab as well is either stacks of pillows, or if you do have a yoga ball yourself, you are going to be using that as a little bit more of an advanced thing about getting into your bridge and holding your bridge as well. But like how I said, we are going to start off with some mobility drills. I take my shoes off, but I have my, excuse me, my special socks on. Oh my goodness, I just swallowed my own air. Having water nearby as well is also very helpful. And then another thing that you'll be wanting to be in mind of is making sure that you are not in anyone else's way. Also, if you are doing this with siblings, you guys are making sure you're not tipping each other over. We're being super supportive and super helpful, because everyone starts as beginner somewhere, and bridge is one of the harder things to accomplish. So I'm going to be helping you guys out with that. All right, so coming onto our mats, again, I've taken my shoes and I've kept my special socks on, but if you want to take your socks off, if that gives you more traction on the ground, you're more than welcome to. Having shoes on for this gets a little bit clunky. It does add a little bit of weight on there, so if you feel like, you know, your legs are all noodles and they can't stay on the ground, you are more than welcome to wear your shoes. But what we're going to do is we are going to have our feet facing forward towards the camera, or towards the laptop or TV that I am on, or a phone. And we're going to make sure our feet are going straight out. We don't want to turn them out. I have a really bad habit of doing so, so I have to make sure my feet are pointing straight ahead. We're just going to start off with some shoulder circles, rolling backwards, feeling those crunches in your shoulder sockets. It's great. And with going backwards, you want to make sure your shoulders are touching your ears. It's helpful to have your hands in front of you as well, to give you a little bit extra of a kind of a visual of, am I moving entirely through my shoulders? And we also want to do this slowly. We're going to go forwards now. So forward, shoulders to the ears, forwards. Having my shoulders almost want to touch each other on the inside, but I have clavicle bones, so it's not really going to work. And rotating those shoulders forwards. I'm going to be dipping my head to the center of my chest. I'm just going to wait right here, taking a deep breath in through my nose, out through my mouth. I'm going to apply slight pressure on the back of my head. I'm going to interlace my fingers so they are on the back of my head. I'm not going to force my head down, but just as a little extra weight. Putting my fingers behind my head helping me out a little bit. I want to be pressing my hips forward as well. If I'm going over and my hips aren't pressed forward, then I'm not doing anything to help out my neck. So we're making sure that I have my fingers interlaced behind my head, my hips are forward, and I'm leaning down. All right, and taking those hands off of the back of your neck, I'm going to rotate my head to my ear. My right ear and my right shoulder are pressing together almost. My left arm is going to be pressing down on an invisible table that I have next to me. So we're lengthening that space in between your shoulder and your ear. So that's your left shoulder, left ear. That is as far apart as you can, pressing down on that table. And my right ear and my right shoulder are trying to be connected. All right, and letting go of that table, relax that arm, rotate that chin back to the center of your chest, and we're going to do the opposite side as well. So left ear and left shoulder are now going to be the ones that you want to connect, and my right arm is going to be pressing down on that invisible table. If I want to add a little bit of extra weight, if I feel like, oh, I need a little bit of a deeper stretch here, you can place the same hand that you're doing on the same side right on the top of your head. And remember, we're not pulling our head down, it's just a little bit of body weight on there. All right, and letting that hand off that head if you have it, letting go of that table, relax that arm. We're gonna rotate that chin back into our chest. And now we're gonna do full rotations with our chest. So starting off with our chin on our chest, rotating to the right, rotating back, looking up at the ceiling, rotate to the left, and back to your center, rotating your head to the right, to the back, to the left, and to the center. One more time, right, back, left, and center. Now we're going to go the opposite direction. So now I'm going to start with the chin to my chest and rotating to the left, to the back, to the right, and to the center. Now with doing these things, we want to make sure our shoulders are pressed down. We don't want to have our shoulders coming to our ears. Remember, press those shoulders down and rotate to the left, to the back, to the right, and to down. One more, to the left, to the back, to the right, and down. Beautiful. So now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our right arm, we're going to push it across our chest. Our left hand is going to be pressing back that arm. We did this in our first episode actually, where we are not connecting our shoulder and our chin and our arm together, but we're pressing that down. So remember to pay attention. I know some of you are like, oh, looking off way, but if you look down, your chin is going to be connected. So remember, you want to be aware of your arms on this one. Your shoulders are pressed down, your left hand's coming up, that right arm is across your chest. And now we're going to let go, and we're going to do the opposite side. So left arm is now across my chest, straight arm, that right arm is now holding it back, and I'm relocating my shoulders down. It's not touching my chin at all. Remember to breathe. All right, and bringing those arms down. My right arm is now going to come up to the ceiling and behind me. My left arm is going to grab that right shoulder and help just assist that hand come back down my back a little bit more. So when I am doing this, I am making sure my chin and my posture isn't leaning forward. I'm sticking out my chest. My chin is coming up, and I'm making sure that I am giving enough weight to where it stretch, not to where it hurts. All right, and arms coming back down. That left arm is now going to come behind your head. Your right arm is going to come to the elbow. And again, you're assisting that arm down. From the other side, make sure that your posture and your chin are up. You're not crunching or hollowing out your body. Sticking that chest out straight, chin up. assisting the elbow if necessary. Beautiful. So arms are going to be coming down. I'm actually going to be using my wall space on here now. So we're going to come over to the wall, and we're going to kind of show you how to use your wall as an extra guided assist. When you're looking on your wall, you want to make sure there's no picture frames. There's nothing on the wall that could be of any damage. We want to make sure that everything is all right. I'm going to be arm's distance away from the wall. So I'm sticking my arms out straight in front of my shoulders. My middle fingers are touching the wall, and my feet are right below my shoulders. So that is an arm's distance. I'm going to remember which hand is touching the wall and which hand is not. So I'm going to start off with my right hand touching the wall. Right above my head, I don't want to be up on my tippy toes, I want to be flat-footed. So right above my head and my eye line, my left hand is going to go right on top of that right hand, and I'm going to have my shoulders or my armpits touch the wall without me moving my feet. So I'm going to lean forward, I'm going to stick my hips out, and I'm going to... You should feel the stretch in your shoulders, your armpits, maybe even your calves or your low back. Looking up at the ceiling, trying to get those armpits to touch. And remember to breathe. And slowly coming up, hands remain on the wall. Beautiful. So we're going to go on to our other side. So my right hand is on the bottom. I'm going to switch that with my left hand on the bottom now. My right hand is going to go on top of that. And same thing, my feet are not going to move. My armpits are going to come to the wall, and I'm going to stick my hips out back and shoulders to the wall. Remember to breathe. Look up at the ceiling. With every breath, try and get closer. And slowly coming up. All right, so using this wall as well, we did this in episode 1, but more on the floor. We're going to be using our wall for this. And remember, make sure there's no picture frames, nothing that you can damage. And if your hand's dirty, or if you get the wall dirty after this, be nice and wipe off the wall, wipe off that. So we're going to stick our left hand out, and we're going to try and make this as straight as possible. So my thumb is going to be up, my arm is straight behind me and out of my arm socket. My right hand, which is over here, is going to be pressing against the wall. My right leg and my right foot is going to turn outward, and I'm going to leave my shoulder and my left arm on the wall. So I'm using that right arm to kind of give me a little bit extra of assistance to open up that shoulder. My hips are also kind of squaring off so they're not facing towards the wall anymore. They are trying to face out straight in front of me. And slowly come back to facing the wall. And now we're going to do our other side. So my right arm is now out straight behind me. Right out of my arm, my left hand is going to be pressing against the wall to give me support. My left leg is going to help me turn out my body. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And my hips are turning out as well. All right, and slowly come back to facing the wall. Stepping away from the wall, wiggle your shoulders out. That's a lot of deep stretching. The last thing we are going to do is we are going to kind of mobilize our knees and our ankles, just because they are going to be supporting us as well on the bridge. Shoulders are helpful, but it's also knees and shoulders. So, squatting down into our little, almost like our quarter squat. My knees are going over my fingers. My hands are coming on my knees, and I'm going to rotate in counterclockwise, is what I'm doing right now. A counterclockwise position over my knees, bringing them almost straight back and then bending them over again. I'm keeping my feet together and my knees together as much as I can. If you feel little cracks in your ankle and your knees, that's totally normal. And once I hit the center, I'm going to rotate the opposite direction in a clockwise position now. And beautiful. I'm going to take a seat on the ground now. I'm going to be mobilizing my ankles, coming down straight onto the mat. I'm going to come into a figure 4 with my legs. So my left leg is straight out in front of me. My right leg is kind of curled in to make a 4 with our legs. My foot and my ankle are right above my opposite knee, which is my left knee. I'm going to grab my ankle, I'm going to grab the balls and the pad of my toe, and I'm just going to rotate in one direction. Oof, that was already a crack and a pop. And rotating the opposite direction. Beautiful, pointing out that toe, switching it down. I'm going to grab my left leg now that was not above, and now that is in a figure 4 with my right leg down. My fingers are going to grab my toe and pad my foot. Left hand is grabbing that ankle, and we're going to rotate in one direction. And rotating in the opposite direction. All right, beautiful. So my legs are going to come back onto a pike, and then I am going to go grab a drink of water. So go ahead and grab a drink of water. You are also going to find your pillows and your yoga ball if you need that. So grab a drink of water, find your items. All right, friends. I am grabbing my items, my objects. I actually have this personal little workout mat as well that I'm going to use, or this is my stack of pillows. So I'm just going to keep that off to the side, off to a pile. Yoga ball, pile of pillows, or even like a chair that you can not hurt your back on is also a good one. But what we're going to be learning is the beginning portions of your bridge. So you're going to start laying down, or actually sitting down for a sec. What I want you guys to do is have your feet and your legs bent for your starting position, just so when you do lower back down, you're going to have a little bit of momentum here. You also want to have your heels as close to your butt as you can. You're going to have more of an extension here than you will have when your legs are out there. So, what I want you to practice first, we're going to start off with a low bridge. In yoga and Pilates, this is actually your bridge, but we are going to go into our full bridge with our hands. But for your low bridge, your hands are going to be at your sides. You want to almost touch your heels with your fingers. So if you can, awesome. If you can't, you want to be actively stretching towards those heels. So what I want you to do here is I want you to keep your knees together and inch your feet together as well. They don't want to be automatically already touching, but just keeping them in a relaxed from your hip distance. We don't want them to be coming out. We want to keep them in. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be lifting my hips and keeping my shoulders on the ground. So my shoulders are going to stay here on the mat. I'm going to lift my hips to the ceiling, and I'm going to use my glute and my quad muscles to squeeze and tighten up so my hips are touching the ceiling. So it might not feel that much of a difference, but it is definitely a good start to get that feeling of what your butt's doing and what your thighs are doing as well, and that your knees are actively squeezing towards one another. So we're going to stay right here, and we're just going to hold this position. Feel your quads and your knees squeezing together. Your booty is squeezing together. You might even have a little bit of low back muscle that you can feel as well. All right, and on the count of 3, we're going to lower slowly. We're not going to flop onto the ground. And 1, 2, 3, and slowly bring those hips back to the ground. So that is just a taste of your low bridge, so you can see what it feels like. You're not using your shoulders really at all, except to keep you steady on the ground. So what we're going to do next is we are going to try a little bit more of a broken down version of that. So we are going to articulate our spine, and we're going to actually roll up our spine. So what I want you to do is you're going to keep your heels close to your booty. Let me actually take off my jacket so you have a little bit more of a visual. So heels close to the booty. I'm going to see that, I'm not really see because I can't see it. I'm going to place my hands on my hips, and I'm going to rotate my pelvis up. So see how you can almost visually see that. My lower body changes, where we have this little space in my back. We don't want that space. We want to roll that pelvis up and forward. So beautiful. So with that pelvis rolled up, that is the first part of your articulated spine. We're going to go up vertebrae by vertebrae, all the way up your spine until your hips are all the way off the mat, and the only thing left is your shoulders and your feet on the mat. So again, we're going to rotate that pelvis up, and we're going to press our shoulders into the ground, and slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, you're going to lift all the way up. And remember, our knees are squeezing together. We have lifted up all the way off the mat. We're going to hold here for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we are going to roll the same way back down. So we're going to articulate our spine all the way coming down. Keep that pelvis rotated up. And the last thing down is going to be my hips. So that's really good for lengthening your spine. That is an articulated spine, and that is good warm-up for lengthening your body and your torso as well. So we're going to do that one more time. So readjust whatever you need to be readjusted. If you felt like your feet and your heels were just too far, where you weren't getting as much hip as you can, bring those feet and those heels close to your bum and keep those knees in. If you need to use your hands as a visual for you to rotate your spine up, you're more than welcome to. So my hands are on my hips. I'm going to rotate my pelvis up so I don't have that space anymore. And knees together, articulating that spine up until it reaches the top. Coming down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and going backwards. So my shoulder coming down first, and the last thing down is going to be my hips. Beautiful. If you aren't breathing, please breathe. We're up here, or we're actually down here, and we're having our hips come above our heart line, which is a very tough thing to do for your body. So remember, you're always breathing. Take breaks whenever necessary. So if you're like, I need to take a breather, listen to your body, listen to the voice. All right, so we're going to go into more of our actual bridge stretch. So what I'm going to have you guys do is we're going to do first a tabletop, just so you get the positioning of your shoulders as well. So for a tabletop, your hands are actually going to be right underneath you. So we're going to come from up. Your hands are going to be facing forward, so you're not really doing much with your shoulders, but you're just going to be lifting your hips. So this is a tabletop. This is going to be facing forward or facing where my feet are facing as well. It brings you to this tabletop. So that's a good stretch to do. We're going to come back down. Remember to keep your knees and your feet together. We're going to try that one more time for the feeling. Squeeze your shoulders back as well and lift those hips. Woo. And coming back down. So what's going to be different about here is I'm going to teach you a little bit of a trick of how you can kind of trick yourself into having your hands facing the right way if you always get a little bit confused. So my fingers are facing towards my feet right now. I'm going to move my fingers towards my feet. I'm going to reach up in front of me, and I'm going to lower back down. I'm going to follow those fingers, and those fingers are going to come fingertips first and then palms on the ground. Make your adjustments so that your fingers are by your ears and your shoulders. You're going to kind of center out. So fingertips by our ears. We want to have them close. Our elbows in. Our feet are going to be close to our booty again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press through my hands, and I'm going to press through my heels. My hips are going to shoot straight up to the ceiling. I'm going to count it down real quick. And 3, 2, 1. Press those hands, press those heels, and hips up. So a lot of you right now are still building that muscle, but that is going to be the end goal of what we're at. So if we're right here and our head is still on the ground, but we have our hips up, now what we need to practice is getting those palms to press more into the ground and getting those muscles in your upper arms, your biceps. You can push all the way into your bridge. So what we're going to do is we're going to try that one more time. If you want to also get your pillows or your yoga ball, this is going to help with that body positioning. So, and if you also have a chair, you want to look at the size or the height that you are doing this, because this is going to be your support. So let's say you do have a yoga ball at home. We're going to have our feet find the edge of the mat, and we're going to do the same thing where I'm following those fingertips. So my fingertips are starting at my hips. They're coming towards my toes. My hands are now out in front of me. I'm going to start now rotating to where I am flat on my mat, and my fingertips are going to find the ground, and my palms are going to find the ground as well. So right now I'm not pushing up. This is me just relaxing over the yoga ball. My feet and my hands are nicely distanced apart, so I'm not together and teetering all over the place. If you have your feet and your hands set wide, you're pretty stable, kind of like a table, the 4 legs on a table. If they're evenly spaced, they're not really going to go much anywhere. But when you're ready, you're going to bring your fingertips more into your sides. Your heels are going to come in a little bit more, and you are going to press ever so slightly just to where you feel comfortable. The reason why you have your pillows and your yoga ball is if you need to let go, you're not falling from the air. You're going push, and that's it for me, and coming back down. Remember, you want to have a controlled come down or a slow walk to come down, but you know, when you're upside down and you're like, I need to get down, it's nice to have not so much of a far place where you can fall back on. So again, I'm going to now push to my full potential. Eventually, once I start getting more into my bridge and building up more of those muscles, we want to make sure that that ball or those pillows are not there anymore. So I usually start off with the bigger pile first, coming all the way up, and coming down. And getting up, I'm going to rotate up and come off my ball. So I usually start off with a higher pillow stack or a higher yoga ball, and then I slowly make it go little by little by little all the way until I'm on the ground. So if I were to use a lower pillow stack and I don't need too much of a high one, I'm going to put my stack of pillows right in between or right behind my butt. I'm going to have my heels and my feet on one side of the pillow stack. I'm going to follow those fingers again. I'm going to lay back, and I'm going to readjust. So I do lift myself a little bit up, but my hands are by my ears, my heels are by my butt, and this is why the lower stack is for my little bit more intermediate, because you have a lot more to push up from. Not as much as the ground, but coming down, you're still pushing up. Beautiful. So coming all the way down and coming back to a seated position. Going upside down and having your blood rush to your head does sometimes make you seem dizzy, and that is also a good time to grab a drink of water, take a little breaths, and take a little bit of a break. We did a lot of going upside down, so go ahead and take a water break. All right, and we're going to be coming back to our mats. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be practicing that skill or that set of skills with your either yoga ball, your tall mat, anything like that. If you are still beginning and still going through your bridge, I'm going to have you just repeat of the fingers coming forward and just spending as much time finding your balance upside down as necessary. What I'm going to do though right now is while our beginners or people who haven't done bridge yet are still figuring out their positioning, I'm going to be speaking to my little bit more of advanced students. So those are the ones who already have their bridge. Now what we're going to be doing is we are going to be kind of making it pretty in close or making it stronger or even going into our back bend. So what we're going to be doing is same thing of coming onto the floor. We are starting off on the floor first, and then I will give you guys some tips and tricks for going and working into your back bend. So if you have your couch, that is going to be probably where I recommend having a lot of pillows or a lot of just extra squishy things, stuffed animals, just to keep you safe. So starting off on our mats, rolling back, our fingers are by our ears. We're going to push up into our bridge. If you're like me right now, your legs are bent. You're not really pushing through your shoulders, but it is a bridge. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be making our little tweaks. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to push through my shoulders, and I'm going to straighten out my arms. I want to be actively thinking that I'm trying to push my body through my armpits and straightening out everything, and that also includes my legs. Right now my legs are very bent and very wide. I'm going to bring them straight down the mat and a straight leg, and I'm going to make sure my other arm matches. So we want straight legs, straight knees, pushing through your armpits, and slowly bending those knees to roll and come back down. It is so difficult to talk upside down, I just realized that. But for those of you who know that we do bridge stretch after our parkour classes or tricking classes, we usually hold bridge for about, I believe it's 10 seconds. And that is one of the skills, I believe, to also rank up. So, having your bridge and having a good bridge are different. If you feel like you're upside down and you're just bending your arms and you're bending your legs and you're not feeling like you're getting much of a stretch out of it anymore, try and challenge yourself to push those arms straight now. Pushing that chest through. You heard me saying trying to get your body to go through your armpits. It's also like when we're in our child's pose, when we're trying to stretch through our shoulders and then straightening those legs to come together and pushing your hips up. Also requires a lot of balance. Now that you're not like a four-pronged table, bringing it to almost a three-point bridge takes a lot of strength and a lot of pushing yourself to focus. So bring those legs together, straighten out those legs. If for right now it's just bringing those legs together with your knees bent, that is still okay. Eventually you can work on straightening and starting to straighten your legs a little bit more. So we're going to go over again. For my beginners still working on their bridge stretch, you're doing a great job, I can already tell. If you want to start challenging yourself with either lifting, if you're still with your head on the ground, try challenging to lift that head ever so slightly off the ground. We don't want you to come up and then just go crashing down. Remember, little by little. If that means you're only going off like a centimeter off the ground and coming back down, tomorrow let's try 2 centimeters. Make sure that we are doing this safely and falling gracefully back to the ground. So we are going to come right back again to our more intermediate and advanced. We are going to push up into that bridge stretch again, and we're going to have those straight legs and those arms pushing through. So one more time in 3, 2, 1, pushing up. Straighten out your legs, push through your shoulders, and try and get your legs as straight as they can. Remember to breathe as well. A lot of us forget to breathe while upside down. Push through those shoulders, pushing your palms into the ground, and slowly in 3, 2, 1, coming back down. Woo! Oh my goodness. That one is a tough one. Remember, grab a drink of water if you need to sit up for a little bit because all of the blood is rushing to your head. Practicing bridge stretch does need to be broken up into little bits and corners. You don't want all of the blood to rush to your head to where your head hurts now. But remember, grab a drink of water, take your breathers as necessary. I'm going to grab a drink of water actually. All right, friends. So if you have a couch that is nearby you, or even practicing on your bed, this is going to be also another warm-up or another help that is going to help you press up into that bridge stretch. Right now, I have my lovely couch right here, and it has this little thing that is sticking out. You can also use a couch ottoman or a coffee table if it has a little bit of a cushiony surface. So I'm going to be sitting down here on my couch, and I'm going to be coming off of it in just a second. So this is also helping you build up and see where your back flexibility is as well. If your back flexibility is like, hey, maybe not right now, maybe we're going to work on my back flexibility a little bit more and keep practicing on the ground, not come to the couch, that is totally okay. But if you want to challenge yourself a bit of like, I am starting to want to press up more, or I'm starting to want to go into my back bends a little bit more. Back bends are those free, you're standing straight and coming back. We are going to be using that to practice here. So, going off to the side of my couch, my now platform for my hands are going to be this little level up here. So, same thing, my heels are going to be pressing into my legs or into my hips. I do scoop my hips a little bit more forward just so I can get my hands onto the ottoman or onto the couch as possible. So I do scoop my hips a little bit forward, but I still have my straight posture. So if we're still using that finger trick, that is okay. But bringing those fingertips forward, coming up to the wall, looking towards my hands. My hands are now by my ears. I'm going to press, and I'm going to shoot my hips to the sky and my body towards my shoulders. If you need to go down, slowly lower, your head will connect, and you can start to come down. So another trick with the coffee table, just because I have personally done this as well, is if your coffee table is not heavy enough or secured in place, and you're pushing your hands through, your coffee table is going to slide. So make sure that whatever you're using, whether it be your couch, your bed, anything like that, that it's not going to slide out from underneath you. It's probably hilarious, but it's also probably not safe for you, so just make sure you're aware of your surroundings. So for my more intermediate coming more towards getting their back bend, what a back bend looks like from freestanding is this. Falling back onto my hands, and for me, just because of extra, and kicking over. So we are just going to be practicing that beginning part. So getting that free fall to backhand. We are going to be using our pillow stack. And we're going to be using our couch or our bed. So quite literally, when I was a small gymnast, my coach knew that my fear was falling backwards without looking. So one of the things you want to do, and you want to make sure, I would probably try this off on a bed first. It's coming up and coming over. See, I even still had to look, just because I can't see. So coming back, forward, following my hands. I'm keeping my eyes with my hands and using that to fall backwards. Because eventually, your arms are going to be by your ears, and you're going to be looking for your fingers to be all the way down. So, coming back up, we are going to follow our fingers, and we're going to go to our bed. Beautiful. So, with our pillow stacks and how high we are putting things, it gives us the bed or the platform where our hands are going to be a little sooner. So, when you are coming from your straight body all the way down to the floor, that is a long distance. We're kind of cheating the system and making our small adjustments, working backwards or going into negatives is what we call that. So I'm going to use my little bit of space, and my hands are going to find the platform right here. So I'm going to be following my fingertips and following my hands all the way back to find my platform. If you're right here, and look at my arms are all bent, my wrists are all bent, I want to readjust and straighten up. Since we have that platform so close, I can also save myself closer than falling onto the ground. So, you want to start off kind of like with our bridge on the bottom, or a regular bridge, is you want to start off with a high stack and then slowly work your way down. So if your bed is higher than your couch, start off with your bed and with a couple pillows on top. Then, once you're feeling super comfortable with that, take away those pillows, just be on your bed, and so on and so forth from bed to the couch. So, slowly bringing that down, and then you can use the edge of your couch or the edge of that ottoman of a way to use it to step down onto the ground. So, I'm going to be placing my hands right here. I'm going to be moving anything that may be in the way. And coming here. And hands to the ottoman. But now, since I feel comfortable enough to use it, hands to the ground. Same thing, I can use it as a step up and a step down. Using that platform to save myself. All right, lovely friends, we are going to come and do some extra stretches for our shoulders and our wrists. With being in bridge and being upside down, is a lot of our body is going to be kind of used a lot on some fragile parts. So that is your wrists, your shoulders, ankles, all that fun stuff. And you want to make sure that you stretch after those workouts. If not, you're going to have a really bad time when you're older. It's not going to be as fun. So we are going to come to our mats. I'm going to come all the way down to my knees, actually. And I'm going to be sitting back on my heels. So this is what I mean by sitting back on my heels. My feet are flat. What I'm going to do is, a couple of my silk students have done this with me, is I'm going to sit on my toes. I'm going to give my feet a little bit extra of a stretch. So I'm going to come up, take my hips off my heels, force my toes under my feet, and I'm going to sit back on my heels. So you're going to feel a nice stretch through the pad of your foot and the center of your foot, and you're just going to sit back on those heels. While we're doing this, I'm going to do a fun little workout that I do called finger flicks. It's almost like you're flicking water off your hands. There's no paper towels. All the towels are all in the wash or in the dryer, and there's nothing to do. I don't want to wipe them on my hands, but I want to get the water off my fingers as much as I want. So I'm going to flick them off. And that's a forceful flick. Almost like dipping your hands in cold water. You're flicking someone with water. That's what I do to control it. So we're going to flick the waters off our hands while our toes are underneath you. We're only going to do 50 today. We usually do 100. So I'm going to have your arms straight out in front of you. You're going to get ready to flick your fingers, and we're going to do 50. All right? Ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That was 50. That was super easy. But I bet your feet feel like they're done. So we're going to come up those hips and release those toes. We're going to flatten out those feet right underneath. So we're going to sit back down on our heels. So we're going to go more into our wrist stretches. With me being back on my heels, I'm going to place my hands right out in front of me, and my shoulders are going to follow as well. So this is going to be my neutral position right now. So my neutral position is my hands directly underneath my shoulders. My wrists and my hands shouldn't feel that much of a stretch right here. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be leaning ever so slightly forward. And just to where I feel a stretch, if you're like, Coach, I'm all the way out here and I'm not feeling a stretch in my wrists, you're going to move your hands from that neutral position and you're going to move it a little bit closer to those knees. So when you lean forward, you're going to feel a lot more of a stretch. So make any adjustments as necessary. Soft lean, we don't want to do it where we're feeling pain. And come back into your neutral. So your shoulders and your hands and your wrists are all aligned in one. I'm going to be moving my fingers side to side. So my fingertips are reaching towards opposite sides of the mats, but we're still in that neutral position. But I'm going to be going side to side now. Side to side stretches, my hands and my fingers are still on the floor. Just moving my shoulders from the left side to the right side. All right, and bringing those shoulders over my hands, I'm going to flip my palms to face up, and my fingers are towards my hands. So palms are facing up, fingers towards my knees, and I'm going to sit back on those heels. So the farther you're out with this one, the harder it's going to be. The closer you are with this one, the easier it's going to be. So make any necessary movements to where you feel a stretch. I need to definitely stretch my wrists a lot more like this. And while you're in that stretch, you want to make sure that your arms are straight. You don't want to have a bent arm. Straight arms, and then we're going to wiggle our fingers. Make sure we have movement in them. You're not cutting off any circulation. And we're slowly going to come up off those hands, and we're going to shake them out. Beautiful. I'm going to face towards you guys now. We're going to go into more of our wrist stretches. Wrists are very delicate. We want to take care of them, and we don't take care of them as much as we need. So you're going to bring your fingers together, and I like having my thumbs in front of me so I can see where and what rotation my wrists are going. So when I'm doing this, at first I didn't know what rotation my fingers were going, but Coach Freelove taught me a trick, is we're going to watch those thumbs go in a clockwise position. We want to make sure that our palms and our entirety of our palms are put together. We're not going to have any separation. We want them all the way together. So we're going to roll those wrists in one direction. You almost want to keep your wrists together as much as possible in addition to your palms. And that is in a clockwise position. Now we're going to go counterclockwise, so the opposite way that a clock ticks. A lot of our clocks are digital now, so I'm wondering how that's going to play out.
It's like an Australian toilet flush. It just goes the opposite direction.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, there's a little fountain that shows which side fingers to get still intertwined. We're gonna have a flat line from our elbow to our elbow, and we're gonna do the wave in one direction, making those deep pockets and those high tides. So waving your arms. This was also still is a dance move. It's a dance move, I think.
Oh, jeez.
Doing your arm wave in one direction, and then if you haven't before, you want to go the opposite way. It's going to feel a lot more awkward, and I'm definitely more awkward in the opposite direction. It's like my right arm doesn't move as much as it should. So this is a good wrist stretch for you if you can figure out how to do the opposite side. I'm very, very silly. All right, my friends, make sure you drink a lot of water today. Make sure that you're staying hydrated with water. I know juices and stuff are delicious, but remember, drink water. Your body is mostly made out of water, not out of juice or out of tea. Drink a lot of water. Anyways, we hope to see you guys tuning in tomorrow, which is actually Friday. There's actually 2 live streams going on tomorrow at 3 o'clock. With Coach Freelove. He is going to be doing his parkour lesson, and he's going to be doing his Ask Me Anything after that as well. And then at 6 o'clock, he will be doing his martial arts tricking lesson. So that one is a fun one to get a hold of. On Friday evenings, we have those 2, one at 3 o'clock, and then at 6 o'clock. The 3 o'clock has the Ask Me Anything. Pretty sure you can also ask Coach Freelove of what the tricking is going to be as well, if you have any questions on tricking as well. Following this weekend is Saturday morning at 9 a.m. to 10. You're going to come back with me, and we're going to go to actually Coach Freelove and I's living room, and we're going to be doing some more AcroFlexibility there as well. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Go to our Mythic Merlin Media for all of your gear. This is our Galaxy edition. We also have our Ultra and our Prime edition. A lot of the clothes are really nice and really cool. They have leggings, tank tops, hats, even backpacks. I have a Firestorm backpack, and Coach Justin is super jealous because he doesn't have a Firestorm backpack, but I do. But it's really, really nice. All of our stuff is super nice. We hope you guys are doing well. We miss you guys, and we shall see you guys soon. Bye.